survival in our heart. Join us on the journey, through darkness we'll bring light. Rural Report is here, guiding us through the night.
Hello again and welcome back everybody to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC and it is that time again where we're going to have another rural talk, aka the ugly truth about SHTF. Now, what brings this up is I saw this on social media and I'm going to read it, but I'm going to put it here so you can follow along. So this was posted and this reads 3 months supply, then become a raider and taking what I want by any means necessary. What's everybody else's game plan for SHTF? Okay, so that was on a Facebook prepping group. And what astonishes me a little bit is that it wasn't up for very long when I stumbled upon it. And at the time, it had over 900 comments. 938, I think. And it piqued my interest enough that I probably scrolled through a good 75% of the comments. I was genuinely curious to see what people's replies was. And I would have to say that one, um, out of the ones that I read, most of them was that's a bad idea. Then you had your other ones of, don't try that in my place, or, you're not going to get anything from me. And, the typical ones I would expect. But there was probably, if I had to guess, probably about 10% or so that agreed, hey, I have a similar plan, and things like that. There was also probably another 10% that would be kind of my answer of, why are you giving out your SHTF plan to perfect strangers on the internet, right? It's a little different, in mind. Yes, I know it's semi hypocritical, right? Here I am on YouTube and all that, but nobody knows my plan. I have probably over 600, getting close to 700 videos on here, and you can watch every single one of them. And if you feel the need that I'm not telling the truth, that I have shared my SHTF plan, please by all means go give me some watch hours and prove me wrong. But when it comes to this, the first thing comes to mind is that it's probably just an internet troll, right? Somebody that just knows that they're going to say something controversial, and they're going to get a whole bunch of reactions for it. And if that's the case, job well done for them. Bravo, you got what you were after. Uh, the part though that is a little concerning is that, what if it's not, and the people that agreed, with them. Now, granted, the people that agreed could have been the same person with multiple accounts. Maybe they're friends, maybe they're similar internet trolls. They just happen to stumble upon another troll, and so they're going to egg on and try and get more comments for them, or whatever. I don't know. But the thing is there's always a chance that that's 100% true. That is their game plan, because I truly believe there's people out there with that mentality. And I'm gonna go even beyond that. I know there's people that's their mentality. They literally will have a couple, a week, couple weeks, maybe like this person here, 3 months supply, and then they're just going to. That's their game plan. They're just going to just start taking. Now, breaking this down, I find it very interesting because, one, they didn't say the second SHTF happens, they're just going to start marauding around, right? They're just going to start raiding. They said 3 months, okay, and that struck me as interesting. That's why I'm doing a whole show on this one, is because they're willing to give it 90 days. They're going to be a prepper for 90 days before they go to a very drastic, more radical end of the spectrum on this. And I would be more concerned with the people that their game plan is to do this from the get go. Most of us kind of agree. If that's your plan, it's a very bad idea, and you're probably your lifespan's probably going to be cut very very short. But it's very interesting because if you're willing to give it 90 days, then you have, and assuming again this is real, you have the mindset that something bad could happen. You have the mindset that you need to prepare for it. And you have the mindset that for whatever reason, if it's 90 days, then it's going to go on for a really, really long time. So 90 days is my red line. And, I'm just going to go Mad Max style. Or, 90 days is all I financially can afford, to cover all of my bases. And once I get there, that is my red line. I can't afford to go after 90 days. So that is my backup plan, my plan B, which is very interesting, right? And I'm probably diving way too deep into this and overdoing it. Again, it's probably just an internet troll, but it makes a very interesting case study because there are people out there. Okay, that's why they have werewolf preppers, wolf pack preppers, things like that. Those terms didn't just come out of thin air. People have that mentality. They do. Okay, you just have to accept that. Now, whether that's a handful of people or thousands of people, it's true. Okay, and we have to prepare for that. Now, depending on where you live, is going to be depending on how much you should devote some attention to it. But every single one of us should devote this, some attention to this. It doesn't matter if you're 40, 50 miles from the nearest major town, the chance is not zero. Okay. It may be very, very low, but you should at least give it some consideration. What would you do? Remember, the best people in the preparedness community think about the things that others don't think about. That's what gets you prepared the best, because if you're only preparing for a couple of things, then when those couple of things, if those couple of things happen, then yes, you stand a very good chance. But the thing is you prepared for the real up here. These are more than likely going to happen. Bravo, good job. You should. But what happens if it's the next tier down? The one that was only 70% chance. You're like, nah, it probably won't. Well, 60%, 50-50. What happens if it's that one? You're not prepared for it. Okay. So, I've kind of always had a little bit of a saying. We joke around in our mag saying that, if you're prepared for the zombie apocalypse, and you're prepared for pretty much anything. And that was just kind of a running joke and a little bit of a gag, but it's partly true. If you've got your bases covered for a lot of the things that are probable, and you can move on to possible, then you stand a better chance. Okay. Survivability favors those that prepare. It's statistics. um, and you have to be realistic. You have to understand that SHTF is probably going to be very ugly. Nobody's going to want it. Anybody that is online or in person or whatever saying, I can't wait any longer, it just needs to happen. Uh, they're just not mentally prepared for this, right? Um, Most of your hardcore preppers that are truly prepared physically, mentally, everything, they've got most of their ducks in a row. They're just trying to grab a couple of the last little quackers in the back. uh, they don't want SHTF to happen. They want to be prepared for if it happens, but they don't want it to ever happen. And I find that to be pretty much true among the board on people that I would consider kind of legendary preppers, or anything along those lines, that they are probably some of the most prepared people I've ever come across. They don't want anything to happen. um, but going back to this, it's going to depend a lot on where you live. Where is your radius line to, the highest probability? If something goes sideways, then, most of us would agree that it probably is going to start in major cities, very, very populated areas. How close are you? And it doesn't matter. It's going to, you're going to have the people. It's going to be like, well, if you live in the suburb, you're next. Okay. What if you live west of the on a suburb of the major city and it starts there, but it all goes east? It's possible, you know, maybe everybody just happened to start going a little east and then they just kept going a little east and a little bit more east and whatever, and it stays over there for a while. It's possible you could be okay in a suburb. Don't give yourself a false sense of reality and say that that's your game plan. It shouldn't be, but you have to realize it's possible. The same thing if you go, well, I'm 50 miles from a major city. Nobody's going to walk out here to my property. I'm not even going to think about it. It's possible. Okay. And the most dangerous thing is to not look at the things that have a chance of happening. Yes, you should prepare for the things that have a 90%. We plan for probable over possible, but once you get to that level to where you go, okay, I'm covered for a flood, a fire, for job loss, for personal SHTF, to you know earthquake, whatever. You can make it 3 6 months, whatever. You've hit your goals. Start planning for the possible. Start widening it out, because the more that you train, the more that you have a game plan. I mean, I I know this is going to be a bad one. Stick with me. Literally, the US government has a actual document, and you can fight me all you want on it, of what to do in case of a zombie apocalypse. They really do. You can go Google it and look it up. Yes, I know it's going to be quote unquote unreal, but technically it's real. So they're even going to the point of, if this happens, here's what we would do about it. My thing would be is, if it ever happened, which, it's probably close to zero, they at least have something on the books. And I would challenge most people listening to this, give it one of those rainy afternoons, maybe, one of those times where, uh, you're just sitting there and you got a little bit of time on your hands. Pull out a notebook, grab a pencil, and go, all right, you know what? What would I do if 5, 10 people came through the woods? What would I do if all of a sudden, uh, you know, things started coming into the suburb where I'm at? And it's all going to depend on where you live, right? You could even live in a major area and you may be okay. And maybe it might be one of them things that might be rough for a couple of days, week, 2 weeks, and everybody through all the chaos, they all disperse. Maybe you're okay. It's possible, but again, it doesn't matter where you are. Don't give yourself that false sense of security. Nowhere's 100% safe. Nowhere is technically 100% dangerous. It could be really, really dangerous, but technically it's not 100%. So, my biggest thing when it comes to this, when you start looking around on everything, whether it's social media, whether it's at work, whether it's with your neighbors, maybe dinner with the family or anything along those lines, start listening to how people are talking, and maybe even bring it up, and kind of get that thing. There's a lot of people. We've had so much going on in the world, all over the place, whether it's worldwide, whether it is nationally, whether it is regionally, anything along those lines. Uh, People are starting to get a little bit more on edge. People are starting to get burnt out. I'm seeing a lot of things of people that started prepping. They've been doing it for 3 6 months, and now all of a sudden it's like they hit a brick wall, kind of like writer's block or something. They hit prepper's block. Reinvigorate yourself. Find out what it is that got that fire lit in the first place, and blow on them flames and get that thing going again. um, Now's not the time to give up. Now's the time to almost double down. There's so much going on. There's so many rumors floating around, and now's not the time to back away and slow down or give up on this. This is the time to expand. This is the time to really start looking at yourself. The best investment that you can possibly do is in yourself. Elevate your mind. Do a lot more reading. Do a lot more uh, uh, training. Do something to where step outside of your comfort zone a little bit. If you're not interested in firearms, go give yourself a goal. Try and get to a certain thing. Hey, I'm not willing to actually pull the trigger. Cool. Go to the range, watch others, figure out what you can do to kind of push your limits just a little bit. I'm not saying that you have to just jump in, and go full bore right out the thing, but challenge yourself. Get up and find something to do, and put down some goals. Make it to where it's kind of like, instead of a New Year's resolution, it's a mid to late year resolution. Put down something every week. I want to learn how to tie 3 new knots by the end of the month. Make it to where I want to learn how to can something by the end of the year. I want to learn how to XYZ. Make some goals. Make them prepping related and just start working towards them. Small, attainable goals will lead to huge, huge success. But the first step is to identify your goal and get up and do something. There's people out there that have this mentality, and you can be as relaxed as you want. You can be as naive as you want. That's never going to happen to me. Well, there's a bunch of cases in history of people saying that same exact thing and it happened to them. Don't be one of those people, okay? Do something. Make a plan. It's the same thing. How many people go through and do a fire drill at school or do a fire drill at work and never experience a fire? You're going through the motions just in case. Same thing. What would you do if you woke up at 2 in the morning to the sound of glass breaking? What would you do if you were just sitting down at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon at the kitchen table to have dinner with your family to a couple of thuds because they're trying to kick your front door in? How would you react? Now, it's real easy to jump right now and say, I'm going to grab my piece and go take care of business. Would you? Have you trained for that? Because there's most people, the second that the door gets a big old kick, they're going to freeze. They're going to flinch and duck and try and figure out what's going on. Have you had that training to where maybe you have a friend, they can come over and just, hit the door once or twice at random just to see how you would react? And you have to be honest. The more honest with yourself, the better you can train and get better at it. Figure out your. And apparently, I got so into it that my app decided to just cut me off right there while I was on a roll. People, I was into it. I was passionate. I was going for it. So I'm going to cut it there. Maybe there'll be a part two, three. I don't know. We'll see. But hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you're picking up a little bit of the emotion I'm trying to put into this. Uh, when it comes to preparedness, this isn't the thing to where I want to be better than you, or I'm more prepared, or I'm this. I want all of us to succeed. That's why for me, anytime that you see somebody, if you're part of a prepping group, or you see somebody in the store, or you see whatever, and they're struggling, you can almost tell that they're new. They have questions. Help them out. We've all been there. We've all had it to where we had no idea what we were doing until we learned. Be that person. I challenge every one of you. This is that time. Don't have it to where you go, well, I don't have anything to teach anybody. Sure, you do. You are smart. You have knowledge. Okay. And then be honest. If they ask a question you don't know, be honest. I don't know, because we all don't know everything. Don't lead them down the wrong path, but say, hey, I'll help you find out the answer. Tell them to, Uh, Email somebody, join one of these chat rooms. Uh, do whatever you've got to do. There's a plenty of us on here on YouTube that we do live Q&As. Pop in the chat, tell them to come join. But my big thing, go out and find somebody new and do what you can to help them. I'm not saying it's just a lifelong mentorship, but just do that one random act of kindness. Find that new prepper, find somebody that's just getting started, been doing it for a couple of months or anything like that, and just do what you can. And for anybody that goes, well, I don't know where to go look, find a new prepping channel. Get on YouTube right here. Go to the top right here. There's a little search bar. Type in preparedness. Type in SHTF. Type in survival. Anything along those lines, whatever. Find a new channel, or look right here. Look at anybody down in the comments on my video or anybody else that you watch. Go down in the comments. Find one of them that have a channel. If you've never checked them out, go check them out. Start reading down through their comments and see if you can help somebody. Help one person. I've got over 2,300 subscribers. Can you imagine if everyone helped one person? That's 2,300 plus people that we can help within the next couple of days. And then just imagine if they helped and they helped within a week or two. We could help 10,000 people. And it all starts with just one person helping another. It's free. It really is. It just takes a little bit of time and you can do it. I believe in you. The prepping community is the greatest community on the planet and you are a part of it. Help somebody. So, but I'm out of here before this goes way too long. But I appreciate you guys for spending a little bit of time with me. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you have a blessed day. Stay tuned because there's definitely more information to come. And with that, I'm going to remind you, remain united because we're all prepping in this together.